I would like to call the January 12th, 2023 Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order and ask the city clerk's office to call the roll.
Chair Fitzgerald,
Present.
Vice Chair Latowski. Board Member Robarts.
Here.
Board Member Newstein. Board Member Edmondson.
Present.
Board Member Hayes.
Here.
Board Member Clements is absent. Chair, we have a quorum.
Yay. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I always want to say amen.
Okay, we have appointment of chair and vice chair. Would anyone like to nominate a board member for chair? I would like to nominate Emily Robarts.
I second that.
Yes, there's a second.
Okay.
All say, you will serve as chair, yes, okay. Okay, we need a motion.
We have a motion from Danny. I think you did the motion, and the second was a tie. So who do you want?
Oh, well, then we just vote. Was that the same?
I just
motion?
need to know who is the second, so we have our record straight.
I seconded.
Okay, there you go. So we have the motion from you and a second from Betty.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No, I just, can I nominate you for vice chair?
That's next, just as
Good.
soon as I get it down.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, the voting is, voting is complete and all, I can't think of the word, I'm sorry. 7, 6, 5, 5 to 0. Sorry. Okay, would anyone like to nominate a board member for vice chair?
Yes, I nominate Danny Fitzgerald for vice chair.
I second that.
Okay. Okay, seconded by 2 people? Okay, Betty Latowski? Okay, we need a vote?
First,
All in
will
favor?
you accept the nomination first?
Yes,
Okay, now you go for your vote.
I thought I said yes, but I guess I didn't. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, so ladies, typically the gavel would move because you appointed a new chair. So if, Emily, you're good with running the meeting for tonight, Danny, you would pass over the gavel and we'll go from there.
Thank you. And if I'm not here, I'll pass it back. Okay. Do you have a,
These were notes that I got, and these are notes I made on mine. I don't know if they'll be of any help.
Emily, just throw out your lifeline if you need one from me.
pardon?
Just throw out your lifeline if you need one from me.
Okay, I don't know what's,
You don't know what a lifeline is.
okay, Karen.
So the next one is the agenda approval.
The agenda approval of the October 13th meeting, 2022, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, that would be the next one. And note that number 2, which is the variance, it is a request from the petitioner to table it to the next Planning Zoning Board of Appeals meeting.
which was February 9th.
I'm just going to ask, because at the end, I've got to ask you, unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town on training. So if we can just say for this time, the next available planning board meeting, so we don't have to renotice it.
Yep.
But we will talk at the end, and you'll let me and Celine, and we'll figure out what is the best time for you guys.
Sure.
So that would be somebody making a motion to approve the agenda as presented, with number 2 being tabled to the next available Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting.
I make a motion that we accept the agenda with the exception of the date of the next meeting, which we will do at a
We can come
later
back.
date.
Mhm.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay. And do you want to go to the approval of the October 13th? Well, we did that.
We approved tonight's agenda, so now we go to the approval of the minutes of October 13th.
Yep. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 13th meeting?
So approved?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, next item on the agenda. Item BA-22-02, Mint Echo Standalone Car Wash, consideration of approval. This is a request from Josh Nichols, agent for the contract purchase of Mint Echo Car Wash Acquisition Company LLC, for approval of one variance for a proposed standalone car wash at 4840 Lakeworth Road. The variance request is from Chapter 16, Article 3, Division 2, Section 16, 502.2, to reduce the lot width for a commercial intensive parcel from 200 feet to 140 feet, resulting in a variance request of 60 feet.
Thank you, Chair, Board. So you've seen this petition before. This is the Mint Echo. We're talking about the parcel that's next to the Dairy Queen.
Correct.
So you saw it previously, it was a zoning text amendment, and it was a zoning change.
Yep.
So now they're coming forward for the next approvals, which I assume you're doing one presentation for both? So if it's okay with this board, he's going to make one presentation, but there are 2 separate items before you. So the first one we always do first is the variance. And again, a variance is a change from what the code requires. In this regard, they're asking a reduction in the lot width from 200 feet to 140 feet. As was stated, it's a variance request of 60 feet. So you can see in front of you the design, right? So you can see where the old restaurant used to be. You see how that's much smaller than the parcels below? So that's why they need, because they did a zoning change. They went from commercial general to commercial intensive. When they changed the zoning, it required a longer width than what they had. So that's why we're here before you today. So the first thing we're going to do is we have a quasi-judicial hearing. This is both in reference to the special exception and to the variance. So we'll start off with the variance, unless, Celine, do you want to do it as one, or should we do it separate?
We can do it together.
Okay, so tonight we're holding a quasi-judicial hearing on BA 2202, Mint Echo Standalone Car Wash, as well as SE 2203. This means that the board is required by law to base its decision on the evidence contained in the record of this proceeding, which consists of the testimony at hearing, the materials which are in the official city file on this application, and any documents presented during this hearing. The board is also required by law to allow cross-examination of any witnesses who testify tonight. Cross-examination may occur after the staff, the applicant, and other participants have made their presentations and will be permitted in the order of the witness's appearance. It is necessary that anyone who testifies at the hearing remain until the conclusion of the hearing in order to be able to respond to any questions. If you plan to testify this evening or wish to offer written comments, you may do so when prompted by the chair. So all of those intended to offer testimony this evening on any of the cases will now be sworn in by the Assistant City Clerk.
Those who will be providing testimony, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated.
All right. Under quasi judicial, the applicant goes first. So I will turn this matter over to Josh Nichols.
Thank you, Karen. For the record, Josh Nichols with Schmidt Nichols, representing Mint Eco, the applicant. Congratulations, Madam Chair, for your new appointment.
I think, thank you.
So far, so good.
So as she's getting the PowerPoint pulled up. So you probably remember me from a couple meetings ago. So we've been moving through the process, and we have some pieces that are coming before you, some that have then received the recommendation and are moving forward to City Commission or City Council, which we've received first reading approval on. And so we're back with a special exception and the variance request. So you can go to the next slide, please, Karen. So again, the two formal requests we have this evening is the variance. So again, we've got an existing lot that we need relief on. So there's no, we don't have a land stretcher. So we're kind of stuck with what we have, and we need that relief to be able to develop the site within the CI district. So that's a 60-foot reduction, as Karen had mentioned. And then the second piece is the special exception for the standalone car wash. So if you recall, we had which is the companion request below. So these are the two items that have already come before you and have moved on to City Council. And that was to allow the outdoor vehicle detailing and waxing for the standalone car wash. So there is already a special exception allowance, but we added that component of the waxing and detailing to allow this type of use. So that component's kind of through, and now we're back for the actual special exception use. The second piece of the companion side is the rezoning. So currently we're CG, and the only place that the city allows for car washes is in the CI. So we're rezoning to the CI. Again, that's through first reading of the City Commission, or Council. Next slide. So again, I'm not going to belabor this. I think you kind of understand, but this is just a graphic to show we have 140 feet of width, and we need the 200 feet of width per code, and we don't have an ability to gain that. We obviously have built projects on our west and east side, so we are requesting that 60-foot variance there. Next slide. This is just the site plan. That's the one component that will be coming back to you. So I'm not going to go through all the details here, but I did want you to see how this does fit on the site, at least from a conceptual nature. So, but again, we'll get into the details on that one later. Next slide. So really the whole gist of this is, I'm sure everyone's been by the site. This is the old La Granja site. This is what it looks like now. It's in rough shape. It's not being kept up very well. We want to turn it into, next slide. We want to turn it into this. As you saw on our previous presentation, you know, they really are held in high regard in the community. They won top car wash in the county, and they really do a nice job with their landscaping, with their maintenance, with their inside, the outside, exterior. So it's all really the next level of what you see for car washes. So we're really excited to bring this to the city. Next slide. So here's some pretty pictures, some renderings of the facility. Go to the next slide. So that's kind of what the front would look like from Lake Worth Road. Next slide. So just another view angle. Next slide. And before, I'm done with my piece of it, but I do want to bring up Jeff Jervis, who is a code founder, and he's going to talk about the community engagement side of this. So.
Thank you, Josh. What you see up on the screen here is, as you recall, if you do recall, when we were last here, we had two members of the community, two residents who abutted the property, stand up and express concern about the property. I told you that we are a community-focused organization. We immediately went and spoke with the community members in the hallway. Over the next 4 nights, I spent 4 nights in a row in the neighborhood talking to the neighbors. And those two neighbors who came and expressed their concern have both signed letters of support for our project. So I just wanted the board to know that we were very earnest about our efforts to get the community's approval and to be a good community partner here. And that's it. I just wanted, you know, we've done it. We've gotten the people who objected or had potential objections to, you know, to not only agree to the project, but to give letters of support. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
And with with that, we're happy to answer any questions you may have, and appreciate the time.
Any comments from the committee?
No, that was a good way to do it.
I do have one comment. Looking at the, one of the diagrams, there's a space in the back of your parcel that says open area. Do you guys own that and have it going to stay as a buffer?
Correct. At this point, it's open space on the plan. That is
Excellent.
correct, yes.
Okay. So, no further discussion.
So let me just finish. I'll do the back part so you kind of know what staff's recommendation is. But before we go forward, I just want to make sure we need to talk about ex parte. We didn't do that as a quasi judicial. So Chair, if you wouldn't mind, we just need to go down the road to see if anybody's done any ex parte communication. So let's start on this end.
None.
None on Joan? None on Ann? No. None on Betty?
None.
None on Dan? Nope.
None.
Nope. Okay, great, thanks. All right, so as we said, we know what the variance is. The variance is necessary since the petitioner is proposing to raise the vacant building that's there and then redevelop the parcels for a standalone car wash. As Josh stated, a standalone car wash is only permitted in a commercial intensive zoning district. That's why the petitioner is proposing the zoning change. And a commercial intensive property must have a minimum lot width of 200 feet. When you look for a variance, Gesundheit, what are you looking for? So these are the findings of facts that you should be looking at. Are there special conditions that exist particular to the land or the structure of the building? We say yes, because it's already built. It's not like Josh said he can go grab some more land. It's been built that way. Do special conditions that do not result from the applicant's actions? No, he didn't create the lot, right? It was there. It will not confer special privilege denied to others. No literal interpretation would deprive the application of rights others have. It's the minimum variance. And I went through this list. It's in the staff report explaining on each one. And based on that analysis, staff has determined that the petition for the variance does meet the criteria for the issuance of a variance. This matter did go before the Development Review Board on November 17th. No objections were received from staff. Staff is recommending approval of the variance of 2202. So this board needs to make a decision based upon the code requirements. Have you found it that based on the findings as outlined in the staff report that it does meet the justification for the issuance of the variance, or on the opposite, that it doesn't, and then we need to state why we feel it doesn't? So open up chair to the board at this point to discuss or to make a motion.
Does anyone have any objection or any comments? Hearing no comments or objections, would someone make a motion that we vote on 2203?
2202.
Oh, 2202.
I did have my hand up for a question.
Oh, I didn't see.
That's okay. I wasn't up too hard. I do have a question for the gentleman.
Josh?
Do you guys have any long-range plans, 10 years, 5 years, for the wooded lot that adjoins you?
At this point, no. There's no plans at
Do
this
you
point.
have any other properties, Mint Echo properties, that have a similar setup? And if so, have you done anything with the adjoining property?
No, and I'll let Jeff.
We don't have plans currently for this lot. It is a separate commercial parcel, so, we've talked about things like, like a park, we've talked about, internally talked about those types of things. Candidly, it doesn't necessarily have a tremendous amount of commercial value as it's embedded in against a canal inside a residential neighborhood. What we're after is building a car wash, so what we do with that parcel is very secondary.
When you said community, that you're involved in the community, my thought was that that could be something.
Our first instinct, once this process is concluded, is to speak to the city about what they'd like to do with that parcel as well. Right. So, I mean, I would love to do, your next question, do we have any other situations like this? No, we don't. No, we don't. We're generally desperately trying to find about an acre and a half, and this was a luxury, so.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hearing no further objections, I could entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve BA-22-02 Mint Echo standalone car wash.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second
I'll just make it a little bit longer since it's quasi-judicial, and if you're okay. So we're going to say we're making a motion to approve the variance and determine that it meets the findings as outlined in the code for the issuance of a variance.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the motion, and now we need a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay.
So now we're going to the special exception. So again, as we stated previously, the need for the special exception is because a standalone car wash is not permitted without being in a commercial intensive, and it's a special exception in the commercial intensive zoning district. And again, we have permitted uses, which we allow without any further approval, but there are certain uses that we determine they may have impacts, so we make it as a special exception that requires additional review. Up on the board here, I've indicated the criteria for a special exception approval: complies with relevant elements, off-street parking loading, refuge service area, and so forth. These have been all outlined in the staff report. We have determined that the petition does meet the criteria for the approval of a special exception with the conditions that we outlined. So just to give you an idea, so the ingress egress, it's off of Lake Worth Road, so our traffic engineer looked at it, and FDOT has approved it. It does have the screening. Remember, we talked a little bit, again, and we'll get into it a little bit more with the site plan that'll come back to you. It meets the setbacks, the open space, it meets the parking. The use is not going to create a nuisance factor. It's got the walls, it's got extra landscaping in the front. So when people drive down Lake Worth Road, they're not seeing an open space, they're seeing landscaping coming in. It's compatible, it's been commercial, it's staying commercial. And it's not out of scale with the neighborhood. Development Review Committee met on September 9th and 16th. Any comments generated have been incorporated into the staff report. Staff is recommending approval with the 6 conditions as outlined in the December 29th, 2022 Development Review Committee report and recommendations. And with that, the planning board needs to make the decision, did the applicant meet the special exception criteria? So we are here, Josh and myself are here to answer any questions you may have regarding the special exception.
Are there any questions from the committee?
Yeah, I think I have one.
No.
Will there be a problem with pulling into your property? I'm thinking of Dunkin' Donuts on the corner of Military and Lake Worth Road, where in the mornings you can't get past there.
I'll try to pull yours up.
So,
Yeah, you have the site plan.
Yeah, the
so
site,
we
that was
can
what I was
do
going
that.
to go to. So that's one of the biggest
There you go.
components of the operation of the car wash, right? So that's one thing that we take seriously. And as you can see I guess on your screen, the top left corner.
Right here.
Yep, right there. So that's the car. You can see the cars, kind of put in the graphic. So there's a 14-car stack there.
okay,
And we don't anticipate that will ever reach the full capacity at any given time, because they're moving those cars quickly basically through the conveyor. So that's the most important thing, because we can't have cars out onto Lake Worth Road.
Right.
Yep. So, and that's with every jurisdiction we're in, we make sure that's accomplished.
okay,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Any further comments? Hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the resolution 22-03?
I still recommend.
Do I hear a second?
Second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. I love that. Motion passes. Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next month for the site plan.
I do have one little quick question. If everything goes according to plan, about when would you be opened?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Good question.
About, I understand.
How long does it take to build a car wash? So it takes us about 6 minutes from permits, 6 months from permits.
say 6 minutes,
Pretty good. It'll take about 3 months for permits is probably a good estimate. So 9 months from when we get the final, assuming we get the final approval, which we expect to get in, potentially at the March meeting of the council. So March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So somewhere in the fourth quarter.
This year?
Yes, ma'am.
That's good, okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, it'll either be at the end of this year, I'm trying to think about this,
Probably beginning next year.
maybe the beginning of next year.
Okay,
Yeah, I might have,
awesome. Thank you.
thinking about,
Takes 9 months
I have
to.
3 other washes that'll be built this year. I think this one's going to be
Yeah, yeah.
January.
Kind of like a late Christmas present.
That's excellent.
Maybe a President's Day present here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is a recommendation to the city council for the city-initiated request for a text amendment to include sign copy area for all signs permitted in each zoning district. Karen, do you have,
Yes, thank you. So I have a PowerPoint presentation. So this is ZTA 22-18 sign regulations. So it's an amendment to section 16-983. As you remember, we came forward on the complete sign rewrite we did. Well, I guess we're all human, and this is a kind of cleanup. We missed the copy area for the identification signs and wall signs. So we went to get my permit, my first permit, they came in and I went, so this is just to clean it up, to put it in. We're not changing the dimensions, we're not doing anything different. It was in a chart, and we took the chart out and forgot to put it in the language. So really that's, I mean, I can go through the PowerPoint. That's really what happened. It was just to give you an idea. These are what was in before we made the sign code changes is what we're keeping now. Okay, I'm not saying in the future I won't come back to you at some point and make those changes.
It's just a matter of.
It's just a matter of we took it out and we forgot to put it in the right place. So it's just a cleanup. So staff is asking for recommendation of ZTA 22-18, and I'm here to answer any questions or comments that you may have.
any comments or questions from the panel?
I think she cleared it up pretty well.
Good. Okay, can I have a motion to recommend to the city council that they adopt this?
So
I make
moved.
that motion. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I make that motion that we recommend that the city council approve, whatever the number there is.
It's ZTA 22-18.
Yeah, it's off my screen now. 22-Z,
ZTA 22-18.
ZTA 22-18.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Oh, I love that. Okay.
Uh-oh. Power.
Yeah, right. Any further business?
So I just got a couple of discussion items, Chair, if you don't mind. So the first one is that actually our next meeting in February, 2 things. One is you were actually all appointed approximately a year ago from February. And so I thought it might be appropriate for us to have a refresher from the attorney, again, about the things that the planning board's responsibility, nothing like we did last year. Remember, we had the separate meeting? I'm not going to do that. I'm talking like a half an hour. We'll shorten it. It'll also give you the opportunity to ask the city attorney any questions that you may have, because it's been a year since you've been doing this, so there might have been things that arose. So I'd like to do that, so I would ask if you could make your best effort to be here at the next meeting, because it's really beneficial for you to hear that. The second thing is...
That meeting date?
Well, let's go to that meeting date. So it would normally be February 9th is the second Thursday. Unfortunately, I'd like to go to a training in Clearwater Beach, and I'm leaving the day before and won't be back for 2 days, so I won't be here. So we can move it to any other date or time. I asked Celine to bring her schedule, so she has also, because it's not just me, it's her and it's all of you. So I don't know whether you want to move it to the following Thursday, whether you want to make it the Tuesday of that week, or, you really kind of give feedback on what you're thinking. The following Thursday is February 16th.
That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, I would
good?
suggest the 16th.
The 16th?
Can I have a vote for that?
Please.
All those in favor of the 16th?
Aye.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so we will send out a reminder, and again, please make your best effort in order to be here. Trying to think anything else. Chick-fil-A was on a hold for a while, the one at Riverbridge. They're proposing to do a Chick-fil-A where that empty parcel is between the IHOP and the chicken place. No,
Oh, something.
On, near Forest Hill?
yes,
Oh, okay.
Or
That would be,
Tropical?
Polo Tropical, right.
Okay.
Sorry, had brain
It has
freeze.
to do with food, just
Yeah, so they're talking about going in that spot, but they've had some issues, because remember, Publix took over the shopping center.
Yes.
So they had to stop a little bit, because they were under the previous owner. So in a couple of months, you might see them coming back.
Oh, that's going to be a good addition.
So that'll be,
They do
Chicken
things right.
competition.
they do, no, look, I'm not complaining about their food. Every planner will tell you, it's the traffic that comes with it. That's a-
yeah.
Just to be honest, that's where it comes from.
Is there enough room there
But that's
for?
a big shopping center, though.
Yeah, I'm
If
sorry.
they line it up right and they do it the right way, and I'm sure they will, they've got planners and all.
Well, and it isn't so bad for us, because there's no out on Forest Hill. They go in and out on the internal road.
And
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And those of you who've gone to that shopping center, the old public shopping centers are packed diagonally,
Right.
which personally I find to be a real pain in the neck. But, it's so much easier if you go in directly. Karen, can I ask you a question about another issue?
Sure.
I've found out that the skating rink was sold again to a group that owns 6 or 7 other skating rinks across the state. And I'm just curious if you know when any construction is going to be starting on that.
Well, it's always great to know that the Green Acres Rumor Mill works really well. Because there's no official permits in or anything, but you are correct. I think it's Skate America, I think is the company, but don't hold me to it.
Oh, they have them up north.
But they have them all over the place.
Yep.
So, and they are, I got to tell you,
You know, when I heard that place was had been sold, I got like a little pang, because my kids had so much fun at that place. They loved it. 35 years ago. That place is there a long time.
right.
We were also pleased to hear that when the new purchase went through, they did not purchase a plot of land, as Ann knows, in back,
Right.
leaving a buffer between Buttonwood and the skating rink
For now,
for now. Well, it's a landlocked strip, so,
they'll have access.
Yeah.
They'll get access. But, yeah, no, you're correct. And their intention is to keep it as a roller rink. They don't plan on changing it. We met with the owner of this company, and let me tell you, he has more energy than I have. And to have an owner who is so enthusiastic about his business, I can't tell you. We had a meeting with him, and he showed up with like 8 people. That's how excited he is. So I don't know how much to the outside you're going to see. It'll be more probably on the inside. I think, they'll change the color, they'll change signage, but I think they plan on doing a lot on the inside. So I don't know. We asked them, when we met with them, they didn't close yet. They had 45 days to close. But, they have to put sprinklers in there. So it is going to take a little longer, I think, than you normally would expect. So I'm thinking it's going to be several months before he's open. But I got to tell you, he is 100%.
Good. I'm still smiling.
They're not
Because
taking
I'm
the
thinking-
building down.
They're not tearing the building down. No, they are not.
and the last comment was because I had a lot of complaints about the fireworks tent. But I understand, after talking to Andrew here and some of the other people, that appropriate permits were filed and it was legal, even though it might be objectionable, so.
What's a fireworks tent?
It was on the parking lot of the roller skating.
They had a fireworks
I
tent
didn't even
selling.
see that.
Oh, yeah, it was there for about 3 weeks selling fireworks.
Oh, well, 3 weeks.
Well,
If you told me it was there 20 years. and I
no, it
didn't
was
see
there
that.
for 3 weeks, a big tent selling fireworks.
Yeah, buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry. I think, Joan, you had a question? or-
Oh, it'll probably come up when we discuss it, but I have friends who are neighbors, and she's always complaining about this noise from the music from that. I wondered if that could be,
but did she move in with music? One might query? Because that place has been there a long time.
Yes, but the music.
pardon, she's
the
been there, she's
sounds
lived
are
there a
very
long time. Yes,
loud.
she has, and that's a
There, so-
complaint that she had.
Yeah.
I'll mention it to them.
But
I
that's-
think they'll
that
be,
Some
excites me.
soundproofing or buffers or,
Move in next to
sure they will
a
be
noisy
here
place,
before the
and they
meeting
live there for 2 years, and
when
then they
they
start to
have
complain
them.
about the
Yeah.
noise.
Not-
but that, I don't think they need anything.
Near,
I don't think they need to go to
a
any
train
boards.
station or an
It's already
airport.
built. They already got the
Gotcha.
use.
Should I tell them to write
Yeah.
a letter to,
Yeah, you can.
I mean, just to bring
Kara,
everybody's attention
Sure.
again? Because the noise factor for some of these people who live directly behind it.
behind there, yeah.
And
Tell them
like I
that
said,
their
the owner was
ear-
real, there'll be a dress
their hearing
code.
aids
He
out.
doesn't put up with any cursing or anything like that. He said that's not happening, they're gonna get kicked out. He really, I gotta tell you,
You were
if what he says is what he does, but
Even
but
half of it?
absolutely, I will certainly bring it along. But thank you,
Even
Joan and Ann,
half
for
of what
letting
he
me know.
says is good.
Kara,
That place was there
Question.
in 1979.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just, there is a noise
And if you
component
move
to it.
in next to a tavern or a place that.
Buyer beware, I don't know. You have a right to complain, though.
Sidell has a question.
I saw a sign by that land, that there's, that a special parcel is also for sale
Buy that land.
by the rink, the skating rink, that there's another parcel is being sold? Is that
Well,
part
at
of
the time, and I think that's what Emily brought up, the person was not only selling where the skating rink was, but there's actually 2 parcels behind it.
Oh, okay.
Because at one time, somebody was trying to combine all of them together and do a little bigger project.
Oh.
But Emily's correct, because I asked him, the owner of the roller rink said he only bought the roller rink. He didn't buy the other parcels.
So there were 2 other parcels?
Yeah, there are 2.
Not 3.
No,
So the
3 total. It was the roller rink and 2 in the back.
Right,
Okay.
and one in the back was not. Okay, any further
back or 2 in the
discussion?
back?
I think there's 2 in the back,
No, but this was good.
I think.
Okay, well, that it gives them more potential to do something halfway decent.
Okay,
But they didn't buy those.
No, not them.
Right, but somebody
The
could.
next
That's
person
correct.
coming along.
okay, Sidell has another question.
Am I going to still be an alternative for the new year?
Yes.
There you go.
I thought it was just a one-year thing.
It is, but I think you can get reappointed, right?
I'm 86. I won't be around.
Wait, listen, Celine will tell you.
You know, but
Your mic isn't on, I don't think.
Emily's for a year, Joanne and Betty are 2, and then Fitzgerald and Edmondson are 3 years. So Robarts, she just told me she wants to be reappointed, but that has to go in front of the mayor and council if they approve. And then next year, it would be Joanne and Betty. Does that make sense?
they have the term limits, I guess. this
Okay,
year.
if there are no further items for discussion, I can say the meeting is adjourned.
Perfect.
Can I bang this again?
Yes,
Go
you
ahead.
can.